Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either December 21st or 22nd, 2021, and I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? I've put out a lot of videos recently. I got a lot of content through my time at LA Comic-Con. If you've watched those videos, I really appreciate you having checked them out. I hope you enjoyed them. If you haven't seen them yet, I would recommend checking them out. Specifically, I might point you in the direction of the interviews that I did. One with David Mack, one with David Nakayama, and one with Tony Fleece. All right, in the meantime, let's go ahead and move forward with the content of this video. First, by taking a look back to my pick from 2 weeks ago, which was Batman issue 118. And the question remains, was it a worthy and worthwhile pick to be my just one book pick of the week? The answer is no. No, not really. Listen, I really was going to give Batman the benefit of the doubt. Not, you might say, well, Jeff, you don't like it because James Tynion IV didn't write it. That's not the case. I really was giving it the benefit of the doubt. And it's not that it was bad. It was perfectly serviceable. They're taking Batman in a different direction. The direction they're taking Batman seems to be more focused on Batman, the detective aspect of it, his detective part of what he does, solving crimes and mysteries and things like that. That's fine, that's cool. But I was kind of thinking that issue number 118 would grab me a little bit, that they really try to sink their teeth in me as a reader to keep me reading Batman. And there really wasn't much anything there to get me particularly excited. So, listen, I'm going to stick with Batman. I'm a Batman fan from when I was a kid. So I'm going to stick with Batman because it's Batman. The Joker War was really cool. The Fear State was really cool. I just hope that what I've been enjoying about Batman from James Tynion IV continues, and that it doesn't become like, I don't know, a lot of Batman asking questions and stalking folks. I'm sure it won't, but the first issue did not get me excited, so as far as it being a just one book pick of the week, I have to give it a no in its worthiness, but once again, I am going to be sticking with it, and we'll see what is to come. All right, let's go ahead and move forward with my picks for this week. Now, usually I have a just one book pick, and I have 5 honorable mentions. I'm going to admit to you, this time around Christmas, Merry Christmas, by the way, to all of you who celebrate Christmas coming up this weekend. Around this time of the year, the pickings are a little slim. There are some interesting books out this week, but nothing that's really, really super exciting to me. So this week, frankly, I just have 6 honorable mentions. No pick of the week, just 6 honorable mentions. Let's go ahead and jump right into them. The first book I want to mention to you is a new book called Avengers Forever, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. Here is the description. An all-new series starring the Avengers of the Multiverse. On a quest for cosmic vengeance, Ghost Rider finds himself roaring through the wasteland on a ruined Earth, where the great age of heroes never came to be, where hope is a 4-letter word, and where his only ally in the coming battle against the greatest villains any universe has ever seen is the world's most wanted archaeologist, Tony Stark, the invincible Ant-Man. Spinning out of the cataclysmic events of Avengers 750, and operating in lockstep with the Prime Avengers series, the next great Avengers saga begins here, as the Earth's mightiest heroes of every Earth begin to assemble. Okay, so this is exciting to me because I kind of like multiverse stuff. I kind of like, alternate versions of heroes and things like that. I think it's fun. I think it makes for good comic book storytelling. So that's interesting to me as far as this title is concerned. But what is most interesting to me is writer Jason Aaron on this book. I like Jason Aaron. He does good work. He has continuously done good work. So he's definitely somebody to be at least considering. I believe, if my memory is serving me correctly, he has been writing the Avengers title proper, so he's sticking with the Avengers in this story. Sounds like it could be fun, sounds like it could be entertaining, might be worth checking out this week. The next book I want to mention to you is Darkhold Spider-Man, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. The spider trapped in a web of his own making. After reading from the ancient Darkhold, Spider-Man was meant to gain the power to enter the dread Chthon's dimension and stop him from spreading his mythic darkness across the globe. Instead, the book drove him insane. But what does that mean for the stalwart Peter Parker? Dive into a warped world of Spider-Man's broken mind. All right, so similarly, kind of in a way to the Avengers story, I like superheroes when they're just kind of really, really different. Be they a different multiverse version of the character, or be they just flip evil side, which we're going to get here from one of the most goody-goody characters in all of comic books, Spider-Man. So it'll be interesting to see what a dark Spider-Man is up to. You know, it's part of what I like so much about that Spider Shadow thing, little 6-part series that Chip Zdarsky wrote when, you know, his black symbiote suit was taking him over and he started doing some not so great things. I like seeing Spider-Man kind of be bad. And so if you're like that kind of thing as well, you might consider checking out Darkhold Spider-Man issue number 1 this week. The next book I want to mention to you is King Conan, issue number 1 of a 6-issue limited series from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. I'm checking something real fast actually here. Oh yes, okay. I'll get to that in a moment. So here's the description of King Conan, issue number 1. Conan's last stand at the edge of the world. Jason Aaron and Mahmoud Asrar return to the saga of Conan in an all-new adventure that takes the story of the Chimerian further than has ever been revealed in any media to date. As Robert E. Howard posited, when King Conan grows restless on the throne, he sails west toward land and adventure unknown. Now see the first step of King Conan's fateful journey from Aquilonia as an old and terrible danger threatens to end the saga of the Chimerian once and for all. Don't dare miss the first issue of the adventure of a lifetime. Parental advisory, typical of Conan. Okay, so part of what I was flipping back there to check before I read the description of this book was the fact that, yes, this book is written by Jason Aaron, as well as Avengers number 1 was also written by Jason Aaron. And that is the primary reason that I'm mentioning King Conan to you. Conan's cool. I'm down with Conan. I have a few Conan comic books from when I was a kid, and he's pretty badass. So if Conan is your kind of thing, I would highly recommend checking out King Conan, this limited 6-issue series from Jason Aaron. But once again, even if Conan isn't your thing, and you're just looking for some comic books to read by a writer who knows what they're doing, you might consider Avengers number 1 it's Avengers Forever, issue number 1, and King Conan, issue number 1 of this 6-issue limited series, both from Jason Aaron. All right, the next book I want to mention to you is a new book called Ms. Marvel Beyond Limit. I believe that's probably an abbreviation of the title. It's probably Beyond Limits or something like that. Let me see if I can figure it out. Beyond the Limit is what it is called. It's a limited series of 5 issues. This is the first issue from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. Ms. Marvel returns in a new story from best-selling author Samira Ahmed. While on a break visiting her cousin in Chicago, Kamala Khan stumbles upon a robbery at a university physics lab and maybe sets off an explosion of interdimensional proportions in the process. Still, nothing she can't handle, or so she thinks, until she gets home and finds her whole world turned upside down and into a Bollywood set. Why is everyone she knows singing, and how can she make it stop? I guess read the comic and find out. Listen, I'm not totally pumped up on this one. Like I mentioned, this is kind of light week, here late in December. So I mentioned this. If you're a fan of Ms. Marvel, this might be one you want to check out. It looks like it could be fun. If you're a fan of Bollywood, that might be an element of this book that you are interested in. We're going to be seeing more of Ms. Marvel from the MCU, so you might consider, if you haven't ever read a Ms. Marvel comic, if something about this is interesting to you, it is a 5-issue limited series. It might be a good 5-issue story to jump on, get a dose of Ms. Marvel, learn what there is to learn from this series, and then prep yourself for her appearance in the MCU. So there's a few reasons to check it out, but nothing about it is screaming excitement to me. The next book I want to mention to you is Redshift. Issue number 1 of a 6-issue limited series from Scout Comics. Here's the description. While humanity grapples to survive on Mars, the Ministry of Exploration pins mankind's last hope of resurgence on an astronaut who's scared of space. In this space odyssey brew of Total Recall and Interstellar, Helener and his team of explorers hunt for a new home while civil war threatens to obliterate the last bastion of human life. All right, I like world-end stories. I like stories that take place in space, so there are interesting things immediately to me about this story. But I also like I was going to say fish out of water, but that might not be the best way to put it. I like characters that have built-in internal conflict. And the fact that there is an astronaut who's scared of space, how you become an astronaut when you have a fear of space, you'll have to read the comic book to find out. But that is a kind of internal conflict that I find interesting. So if you're looking for an indie book to try out this week, to just kind of give a shot and see if you like it, you might consider picking up Redshift. If you don't like it, file issue number 1 into your collection and hope they make a movie out of it someday. And if you do like it, continue to pick up issues 2 through 6. I like these short mini-series these days, I have to admit, because there's a low commitment and I get a whole story, and I've been enjoying them. So this is another opportunity to check out a brand new indie mini-series. All right, well, my last honorable mention that I'm going to mention today is probably the book that I would have picked if I had just one book picked for this week, but I'm just going to keep it in the honorable mention category. The book is Batman: One Dark Knight, issue 1 of a 3-issue limited series. This is from DC Black Label. Here's the description. From high above the sweltering summer streets of Gotham, Batman planned to escort the GCPD as the dangerous metahuman supervillain known as EMP was transferred from a holding cell to his permanent home at Blackgate Prison. EMP's electrical powers posed a threat, but the situation was in hand until it wasn't. Now every light in Gotham is out. The police are in disarray, and a broken, bleeding Batman must fight his way to Blackgate, block by block, dragging EMP behind him. But the dark corners of Gotham hold many surprises, and EMP has many more shocks to deliver before the night is through. One of the most iconic Batman artists of the 21st century, the incomparable Jock, has focused all his storytelling powers on the tale of one very, very dark night in Gotham City. It's always darkest before the dawn, if it ever comes. All right, as they mentioned in the description, this is not only is the art done for this book by Jock. Jock is also the writer on this book. In fact, if you watched my videos from Los Angeles Comic Con, if you watched the Day 2 video, maybe I'll put the card for it right up there. There was a panel that Jock had with Frank Miller and David Cho, I believe was the third person's name. And at one point, the three of them were talking about how kind of difficult and stifling creatively it can be potentially to work with one of the bigger comic book publishers like DC. But Jock had a completely different perspective on it. He said DC had been fantastic. to work with, and that they were basically letting him do whatever he wanted, and they weren't stifling him, and so he was really getting to tell the story that he wanted to tell. And that is, oh, my dog is mad about something. Ooh. He'll be okay. So DC is allowing Jock to tell the story that he wanted to tell. So that's really great. I like to hear when creative people say that, because then you know that you are getting an unfiltered, unadulterated, I think that's the word, story and creative endeavor from them. So this seems like it could be pretty cool to check out. Now, I believe it is in the oversized DC Black Label format. If you're familiar with that, it's in a much larger format. I actually think that could make this a much more enjoyable read. I think the larger format is going to serve this story and this art. So I'm kind of glad. I'm usually a little bit resistant to the larger format because I'm like, well, what am I going to do with it? It's not going to fit in my comic book boxes. But I think this one might be, like, once again, served by the larger format. Also, I will mention once again that it is a 3-part series, and the cover price on it is $7, $6.99. So that is another thing that is leading me to believe that it is in the larger format. But this sounds like a cool, fun story. I mean, I don't know much about the character EMP. I don't know if EMP is a new character or if EMP has been around. Let me know down in the comments if you're like, no, EMP has been around for decades. Jeff, learn something, you jerk. Or, no, this is the first appearance of EMP. People should pick up this book if for no other reason, just to pick up the first appearance of EMP. But it sounds like a great story for Batman to be fighting through Gotham, trying to take this EMP character to Blackgate Penitentiary, but is also doing it in the dark, which suits Batman's aesthetic and also heightens up the tension and the kind of the fear factor. So I think this could be a fun and entertaining book to check out. And so that's why it is my 6th honorable mention, almost a just one book pick for the week. All right. This is my video for this week. It might not be my best video, I will admit that. It's been a long week. This video is coming out a little bit late because of that. I should still have a video for you this upcoming weekend. It'll probably be also a little bit late considering the fact that Christmas is on Saturday. Or maybe I'll put it out early. That's probably a better idea. I think maybe I'll get it out early. But regardless, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you would like to hit the like button, I would like that. And if you haven't subscribed, I invite you to do so. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.